All right, let's read this one together. And I'll have you guys recite the steps back to me. Whoops.
Do we have to do it in our notebooks? Or?
Yeah, you should have the notes, the steps written down in your notes.
I mean,
The problem you're about to do.
Oh, no, you can do it on the paper. You can do it on the worksheet. All right, so what's the first step? Yes. No, that's not the first step.
Right, Elsie.
Nope.
Yes,
Convert
it
it
is.
to standard form.
Convert to standard form, okay?
Oh,
So it's in standard form, guys. You have something x and then something y equals a number for both top and bottom. All right, next step.
we need to put one.
Yes, you need to fill in the missing coefficients, right? So what's negative x become?
1x.
Negative 1x. It's weird, it erased, and it's got the pin on there. That's totally strange. Let's try that again. Okay, negative 1x. Everything else is numbers, right? Shh. We got negative 1, negative 2, negative 5, negative 6. Okay, what's the next step? So let's quiz you guys. What do you guys think the least common multiple of negative 1 and negative 5 is?
5 and 1. Negative 5. 5.
Okay, does this number go into this number, basically? Yes. So this number is the least common multiple. It's going to be negative 5, okay? So we need to turn the top number into negative 5. How do you get from negative 1 to negative 5? You multiply it by what? 5, exactly. So I'm going to take this entire equation and multiply it by 5.
I thought you
Okay, so, but he's right. It's a shortcut that will work. You could multiply the top by negative 5, but we'll just stick to what we learned. And so the top is going to become negative 5x, okay? Then you're going to have 5 times negative 2y becomes negative 10y. And then finally 5 times negative 2 again, negative 10 again. Now, notice the bottom equation is going to stay the same, but I am going to rewrite it, okay? So it's going to be negative 5. If you do this right, then the first two terms should be the same for both equations. No. Okay, so what's the next step? Take the bottom equation and multiply by what?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So basically what that's going to do, it's going to flip every single sign. That's one way you can do this step, is just flip every single sign on the bottom. Okay, again I'm going to just rewrite the top the way it was. Because it's a system of equations, you have to carry both equations down. However, the bottom equation, everything flips. It becomes positive 5x, positive 6y, positive 18. Okay. The next step actually might be the easiest. You do what with the equations? Add them, right. So we're going to add the negative 5x plus 5x. What does that equal? 0. In fact, you can just cross that out. Okay, you don't even have to put 0 because they're going to go away. Next, you get negative 10y plus 6y.
Negative 4.
Negative 4y. And negative 10 plus 18. 8. Okay. Now, if you look back,
Wouldn't it be negative 8?
nope. Negative 10, 18 is bigger than 10. Negative 10, so the positive takes it over.
Oh.
If you look now, we're going to be solving for that variable. Usually it's going to be y if you go ahead and take care of x first, right? So now we're solving for y. How would you get y by itself?
Add 4.
You would not add 4. I'm sorry.
Divide.
Yes, it's being multiplied, so you would have to divide. To do the opposite, what's 8 over negative 4?
Negative 2.
Okay, that leads us to step 9. We're going to take that value and plug it back in. I normally just use the top equation. You can do either one. You're going to get the same answer. Okay, so now we're going to take that y equals negative 2 and we're going to plug that into the original, one of the original equations. You can choose either one. I normally just go with the top. And in this case, the top is definitely simpler. I'm just going to rewrite that out. The original top equation was negative x minus 2y equals negative 2. And I'm going to plug in, see if I can show this. I'm going to plug in my y equals negative 2 in for y here and solve for x. Now normally If you do it the way we did it just now, you eliminate x and solve for y. As I said before, you can always eliminate y and solve for x by doing the LCM and multiplying by -1 and that kind of thing. So we're going to plug in -2 for y in this case. Jump down a little bit too far. Okay, so I'm going to put that in parentheses. Now over on the left it's going to stay the same, but right here then y is going to be replaced by -2. And now we're just going to solve for x. So we get -x plus 4 equals -2. Now solving for that, we would actually just subtract 4 from both sides. We get -x equals -6. Then we would divide by -1. And something happened there. Don't know. Oh, okay, I see it just going down. We get x equals +6. And I've already got the other y written out. I like to put both solutions together, so we had x equals 6 and y equals -2. Like I said before, you can take those and plug them back into the original equations and they will work. I guess we can go ahead and do that real quick just to show you guys how that would work. So since we got x equals +6, we're going to plug that into the top. And we got -2 for y. We're plugging this into the top equation. We get -6 plus 6 equals -2. I'm sorry, -6 plus, apologize for that, -6 plus 4 equals -2. And that checks out. We can also plug in those numbers into the bottom. So the bottom equation was -5x, and we plug in 6 for x. Minus 6 times -2. And that should equal the original -18. I'm running out of space here. Give me a second. Okay, let's try this again. So we equal to -18. We can put a question mark up there just because we're not sure, right, until we plug it in and check. So that's going to give us -30 plus 12, and that does indeed equal -18. So you should be able to plug in x and y in for both equations and they will work, and that verifies that your work is correct. If you have any other questions about solving systems of equations with two variables, let me know.